The US-led coalition has launched airstrikes against Isil fighters in Kirkuk in northern Iraq. Battles have raged for hours after Isil attacked multiple locations throughout the city and surrounding areas. Security forces say they killed Isil suicide bombers who targeted a former police complex there. Isil also attacked a power plant and a convoy of Kurdish Peshmerga forces further to the south. A state of emergency has been declared and a curfew is now in place. Kirkuk is an oil-rich city about 290 kilometres north of Baghdad and currently claimed by both the Kurdish region and Iraq's central government. It is about 175 kilometres southeast of Mosul, Isil's last major stronghold in Iraq. Let's talk now to Najmuddin Karim. He is the governor of Kirkuk. He joins us on the line from there. Mr. Karim, is this situation still very much live, still very much ongoing?
Actually, the situation is very much under control. There were about 5 places where the gang of ISIS members split into 5 groups ranging from 3 to 5 people. We have been able to neutralize 4 of those places. There's only 1 place with 1 person left in it. The others were killed, and hopefully that will be taken care of in the next hour or 2 before the night is over. How
well organized were they?
Well, I think these were mostly individuals that came from the part of Kirkuk that's still under control of ISIS, which is the Sunni Arab part of Kirkuk called Hawija. They were able to infiltrate by foot somehow and get into the city, and obviously they had help in the city itself. And they came to die. They came to inflict as much damage as they could, and then either blow themselves up or die in the firefight, and that's really what happened to almost all of them, except for that 1 person that's still at large.
Are you saying, therefore, Mr. Karim, that they were not members of 1, 2, say 3 sleeper cells? They were actually living out in the open in a very specific part of Kirkuk, and then they literally walked on foot to where they decided to launch what they launched in the early hours of this morning?
Yes, basically the way it was, at least from the information that we have, is they were able to slip through a tunnel that has been left unused for many years. And actually it was even filled with dirt, but apparently they had worked on that and opened it up and then entered into a river valley that doesn't have any water in it anymore, and were able to come into the city and then split into different groups. And they tried to take over the old police station. They tried to attack the governor's building, which is my office, and my staff that are working there, and some other places, but they weren't really able to do any of those. And I think part of this is they are facing defeat in so many fronts that they resort to these type of actions whenever that happens somewhere. We saw when Fallujah and Ramadi were liberated, they started the car bombs and the suicide bombers in Baghdad, and the same thing in other places.
Understood. Just to interrupt you for a second, Mr. Karim, just to be clear on one particular point. When we're talking here about ISIL supporters, ISIL fighters living in a part of Kirkuk, digging tunnels, walking along riverbeds, trying to get to your current office instead of ending up doing what they did, which was going for a former, that's the important thing there, a former police office, surely somebody must have worked out that they were up to no good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we even have received repeated information, not just one, but, you know, every week, every 2 weeks, we get information that ISIS is planning to do this or do that. And we try the best we can to prepare for it. I think these people slipped through those areas that I just mentioned. And we are certain that there are people who are helping them, which you can call sleeper cells or whatever you call them, because some of these people, after they were killed, from their appearance, the way they were dressed, they are not some of those who may have slipped with the IDPs or internally displaced people, who have actually clean-shaven, after they discarded their Daesh uniform and their beards and all that. These guys have exactly the same uniforms on, and the face with the long beard, full beard, and all that. So we know that they had slipped in probably last night or the night before.
The received wisdom is that there are probably sleeper cells in Baghdad as well, in the Iraqi capital. If there are more sleeper cells in Kirkuk, point number one, how do you react to that? And point number two, if this is a long campaign to retake Mosul, might you now be heading into a long campaign of having to take on these sleeper cells in your city, in your part of Iraq?
Well, first of all, with in Kirkuk, before ISIS, before even there was ISIS, there used to be terrorist attacks, 2-3 car bombs every week, sometimes more than 2 in a day. But after that, and after the Peshmergas came, and after the trenches were dug around the city, we haven't really had any major terrorist attacks for over 2.5 years. This is the first time this happens. Obviously, there were some weak points, and we're going to take care of that. And we'll be prepared for any of these. There are sleeper cells everywhere in Iraq. There are sleeper cells in the Kurdistan region cities. There are sleeper cells in Baghdad, in the south, and everywhere. So we all have to be ready for these. These guys are not just going to disappear because Mosul is going to be taken away from them, or Ramadi, or Fallujah, or any place, or any other place. Just like you have these cells in Europe, in France, in Belgium, in San Bernardino, or in Orlando. So, we all have to work together, try to gather the best intelligence, and there has to be cooperation as far as sharing intelligence to prevent these from happening. But ISIS is being defeated. ISIS doesn't have too many places. Actually, the only place ISIS has are 2, Mosul and Hawija.
OK, Mr. Karim, we do have to leave it there. I know you're very busy. Obviously, a live situation still ongoing. Najm al-Din Karim, the governor of Kirkuk, talking to us here on the News Hour.